Hello, students. Can you imagine a world where no organisms reproduced? There would be no new plants, animals, or even humans. The world would look entirely different. In this video, we will cover the chapter How do organisms reproduce and uncover the processes that ensure the continuity of life on Earth. So, in this video, we will see Introduction to Reproduction. Do organisms create exact copies of themselves? Modes of reproduction used by single organisms. Asexual reproduction and at the end sexual reproduction. So, let us begin the video by introducing ourselves to reproduction. Reproduction is the process by which living organisms produce offspring or generate new individuals of the same species. Reproduction is how life continues on Earth. Without it, plants, animals, and even humans would not exist. Do organisms create exact copies of themselves? Organisms look similar because they share similar body designs, indicating a common source for these designs. Reproduction is the process through which these similar designs are created. Let us understand the concept of DNA to answer this question better. The cell's nucleus contains chromosomes, carrying information for inheriting features present in the form of DNA molecules. DNA, deoxyribonolic acid, in the nucleus is the source of information for protein synthesis, and changes in this information lead to altered body designs. A fundamental event in reproduction involves the creation of a DNA copy. DNA copying results in the formation of an additional cellular apparatus, leading to the separation of DNA copies into two cells through cell division. DNA copying results in variation. As DNA copying is a biochemical process, variations may occur each time, making the process not entirely reliable. If the new DNA copy is not viable, the cell will not survive, and surviving cells may be similar but not identical, subtly differing from each other. The importance of variation. Variations become significant as they help organisms adapt to new environmental conditions, ensuring survival. In situations with environmental changes, organisms with variations stand a better chance of adapting to new niches, maintaining the species over time. For example, if bacteria in temperate waters face a temperature rise due to global warming, variants resistant to heat may survive and prevent the extinction of the entire bacterial species. The survival of a species over time relies on the importance of variations. Now, let us learn the modes of reproduction. There are two modes of reproduction: sexual reproduction that involves two parents and asexual reproduction that involves one parent only. For example, humans reproduce through sexual mode and bacteria reproduce through asexual mode. Now, what is asexual reproduction? Asexual reproduction involves one parent only. The offspring is an exact copy, clone, of the parent. Examples include bacteria splitting into two, potato plants growing from tubers. Let's discuss the types of asexual mode of reproduction. The first mode of asexual reproduction we are discussing is fission. Fission reproduction refers to a type of asexual reproduction in which an organism splits into two or more parts, and each part develops into a separate individual. The parent cell divides into daughter cells. Single-celled organisms, like bacteria and amoebas, reproduce by dividing into new cells. Here's how it works: simple division, many bacteria and protozoa just split into two equal parts. It's like cutting a cookie in half. Amoebas can divide in any direction, not just straight down the middle. Organized division, some single-celled organisms, like Leishmania, which has a tail-like structure, divide in a specific direction related to this tail. Multiple division, other organisms, like the malaria parasite Plasmodium, don't just make two new cells, they split into many new cells all at once. Now, Let us move on to second type of asexual reproduction, which is fragmentation. Fragmentation is a type of asexual reproduction where an organism breaks into fragments and each fragment develops into a new individual. Example, Spirogyra. The next type of asexual mode of reproduction is regeneration. When an organism is cut or broken into multiple pieces, and each of those pieces has the ability to develop into a complete and functional organism, it is referred to as regeneration. Examples, animals like Hydra and Planaria can be split into pieces, and each piece can become a new organism. The next type of asexual mode of reproduction is budding. In some organisms, a bud forms as a small outgrowth on the parent body. This bud undergoes development and gradually matures into a miniature individual. Once matured, the bud detaches from the parent body and continues to grow and develop independently, eventually becoming a fully functional new individual. Examples are Hydra and yeast. Let us learn about the next type of asexual mode of reproduction, which is vegetative propagation. In this mode, new plants are developed from a plant's vegetative parts like stem, leaf, and root. Advantages of vegetative propagation: special methods like layering and grafting help grow plants such as sugarcane, roses, and grapes. Faster growth: plants grown this way can produce flowers and fruits quicker than those grown from seeds. Seedless plants: this method helps grow plants like bananas and roses that don't produce seeds. Similar traits: new plants are very similar to the parent plant and have the same characteristics. Let us move on to last asexual mode of reproduction, which is spore formation. Spores are small bulb-like structures that are covered by thick walls. Under favorable conditions, they germinate and produce new organisms. The thread-like structures on the bread are called hyphae and they belong to the bread mold Rhizopus. Hyphae are not reproductive parts. The tiny structures resembling blobs on a stick are called sporangia and they are involved in reproduction. Sporangia contain cells, called spores, which can develop into new individual Rhizopus organisms. So, students, we have covered asexual mode of reproduction and its types. Let us now learn what is sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction involves two parents, male and female. Each parent contributes half of the genetic material, DNA, to make the offspring. Examples: humans, dogs, most animals, and flowering plants. Why the sexual mode of reproduction? Variety for survival: sexual reproduction creates differences in offspring. Better survival chances: some offspring will have characteristics that help them survive better, keeping the species alive over time. Example: siblings with sickle cell trait may have some resistance to malaria. Germ cells, specialized for sexual reproduction, vary in complexity among organisms. In simpler organisms, germ cells are similar, while in more complex ones, they differentiate into female, storing food, and male, small and motile, gametes, contributing to the differences in male and female bodies and reproductive systems. Let us first see sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Sexual reproduction in plants involves the fusion of male and female gametes found in the stamen and pistil of flowers. The parts of a flower. The reproductive parts of a flower are shown below. Female reproductive part includes pistil, stigma, style, ovary and ovule. Male reproductive part includes stamen, which includes petal, anther and filament. Sexual reproduction in flowering plants: flowers are classified as unisexual, incomplete flowers having either stamens or pistils, or bisexual, containing both stamens and pistils. Pollination allows plants to reproduce. Pollen from the anther sticks to the pollinator like bees. Pollinator then carries the pollen. Pollen then sticks to the stigma of another flower. Methods of pollination by insects. Insects like bees and butterflies carry pollen from flower to flower while they collect nectar. By wind. Wind can also carry pollen to other flowers. These pollen grains are lightweight and can be easily carried by the breeze. Pollination can be self-pollination within the same flower or cross-pollination between flowers of the same species. Let us now learn about fertilization and what is it? A process by which the male and female reproductive cells, gametes, combine to initiate the development of a seed is called fertilization. Process of fertilization. Step 1. Fertilization. The pollen on the stigma germinates and sends a pollen tube down into the flower's ovary. This tube delivers the male gametes to the ovule, where fertilization occurs. Step 2. Seed formation. The ovule develops into a seed, and the flower's ovary matures into a fruit, enclosing the seeds. Step 3. Seed dispersal and germination. The mature fruit can be eaten by animals, carried by the wind, or float in water, allowing seeds to be carried to new locations and grow into a new plant. Let us proceed to see reproduction in human beings. Human reproduction is sexual, and the reproductive phase is when an individual is ready to have offspring, marked by changes starting from birth. What is puberty? Puberty describes the changes in boys and girls as they mature into adults and how their reproductive systems alter during this time. When does it happen? In general, girls begin puberty between 8 and 14 years old, with an average of 11 years old. Girls develop more quickly than boys and usually finish puberty in around 4 years. In general, boys begin puberty between 9 and 14 years old, with an average of 12 years old. Most boys finish puberty after around 6 years. Hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers which are produced in glands and carried around the body by the blood to specific organs in the body. Hormones bring about puberty and regulate the reproductive system. Changes in boys. Voice breaks, gets deeper. Testes and penis enlarge. Testes begin to produce sperm cells. Shoulders become wider. Hair grows on the face and chest. Changes in girls. Ovaries start to release egg cells. The menstrual cycle begins. Hips start to widen. Breasts start to develop. Changes in boys and girls. Growth rate increases. Underarm hair grows. Pubic hair grows. Body smell gets stronger and emotional changes. Let us now study the male reproductive system. Penis. The penis is used for both urination and sexual intercourse. It is made of spongy tissue and blood vessels. It also contains the urethra through which sperm and urine pass through to leave the body. Testes. The male reproductive system has 2 testes. The key roles of the testes include making millions of sperm cells and hormones. The hormones produced in the testes impact the way a male body develops in puberty. Foreskin. The foreskin is a retractable fold of skin which covers the end of the penis. Scrotum. The scrotum is a bag of skin which contains the 2 testes. Urethra. The urethra is a hollow tube which transports urine from the bladder to outside the body. It also transports sperm. Sperm duct. The main role of the sperm ducts are to transport sperm away from the testes, where sperm is made. Glands. There are a number of different glands in the male reproductive system. They produce fluids to mix with the sperm which supply the sperm with nutrients and help regulate urine flow. Bladder. The bladder temporarily stores urine in the body. It helps expel urine from the body by sending nerve signals to the nervous system which tells the brain that you need to go to the toilet. Role of the male reproductive system. The key role of the male reproductive system is to produce sperm cells in the testes and release them inside a female. If a sperm cell successfully reaches an egg cell and fertilization occurs, an embryo will be formed. The embryo will develop into a baby over the course of a pregnancy. Let us now study the female reproductive system. Ovary. The female reproductive system has two ovaries. They contain undeveloped eggs, ova, which are present from birth. They also make hormones which regulate the menstrual cycle. One of the ovaries releases a mature egg as part of the menstrual cycle. Oviduct. The oviducts are two tubes which connect the ovaries to the uterus. Oviducts are also known as fallopian tubes. They are lined with hair-like cells called cilia to help move the egg from the ovary to the uterus. Uterus. The uterus is muscular with a soft lining. A fertilized egg can implant in the uterus wall and develop from an embryo to a baby over the course of a pregnancy. The lining of the uterus wall comes away as a period if an egg is not fertilized by a sperm. Cervix. The cervix is a ring of muscle which keeps the baby in the uterus during pregnancy. The cervix dilates to open during labor. Vagina. The vagina is a muscular tube which connects the cervix to outside the body. It is where the penis enters during sexual intercourse and where the baby exits the body during childbirth. The vagina is also where the menstrual blood, period, leaves the body. Fertilization of egg. When the egg is fertilized, the fertilized egg called a zygote is planted in the uterus and develops into an embryo. The embryo gets nutrition from the mother's blood with the help of a special tissue called the placenta. It provides a large surface area for the exchange of glucose, oxygen, and waste material. The period from fertilization up to the birth of the baby is called the gestation period. It is about 9 months. When the egg is not fertilized, the uterus prepares itself every month to receive fertilized eggs. The lining of the uterus becomes thick and spongy, required to support the embryo. When fertilization had not taken place, this lining is not needed any longer. This lining breaks and comes out through the vagina as blood and mucus. This cycle takes around 28 days every month and is called menstruation. Estrogen. Estrogen is a female sex hormone made in the ovaries. It is responsible for puberty in girls and regulating the menstrual cycle. The ovaries produce estrogen and progesterone. The placenta. If a woman becomes pregnant, the placenta produces progesterone to maintain the lining of the uterus and to stop menstruation. Role of the female reproductive system. The female reproductive system has many roles. It produces eggs in the ovaries which are transported via the oviducts. A male sperm can fertilize the egg to produce an embryo, which can implant in the uterus wall and eventually develop into a baby. The female reproductive system regulates this process by various different hormones, which are produced in the ovaries and pituitary gland. Students, lastly in this video, let us learn about reproductive health. Sexually transmitted diseases, STDs. Many diseases can be sexually transmitted such as bacterial diseases like gonorrhea and syphilis and viral diseases like warts and HIV/AIDS. The use of condoms prevents these infections to some extent. Methods of contraception. Physical barrier. Use of condoms, cervical caps and diaphragm. Chemical methods. Use of oral pills. These change the hormonal balance of the body so that eggs are not released. IUCD Copati or loop is placed in the uterus to prevent pregnancy. Surgical methods. In males, the vas deferens are blocked to prevent sperm transfer called vasectomy. In females, the fallopian tube is blocked to prevent egg transfer called tubectomy. We hope that you have understood the topic. You can now study chapter notes Watch video lectures and solve MCQ tests of this chapter on EduRev to ensure you score well in your school exams. And that's not all. You also get amazing courses for maths, science, English, Hindi, and much more for class 10. Thank you.